He scared him.
Startled him.
My little butchie butch wants to hold my hand.
No, he just wants you to keep petting him.
My little butchie butch.
You see, if I didn't just like position the cameras, I would like to like just do a camera move onto him, be like, "Look, it's your doggy."
Yeah, we have a special guest today, Mr. Big.
So if you hear him whining, because we're not paying enough attention to him, which generally, like when we're talking, he'll just kind of fall asleep.
Yeah, I think he'll probably just take a nap
until I start getting loud. Yeah, and he's gonna stare at me weird.
Yeah, you're gonna startle him for sure. I know you are. You're gonna do some. There's gonna be one where I'm gonna feel him like.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's scary, isn't he?
I'm scary.
He's scary.
I don't know. Do you actually have do you have actual lead in, or do you want to just do it now?
My God, he's so cute. This is Tommy.
This is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's mixtape. So, just real quick, come here. This is Mr. Big.
That's Mr. Big, everybody.
My buddy.
Hold on, get him more into your face. Get him more closer to your face.
Oh God, he's so heavy.
There we go. Yeah. Now that'll be fully in frame, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I have an eye. I'm at Emotep. Whoa. Emotep.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody.
Hello. It's we've already been in February for a minute. I was like, welcome to February. Wait a second.
Yeah, it's almost over again. I guess it's not. It's still.
When this is released, we'll be in the middle of February. I think this is right after Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day.
Hey, a movie about kind of actually works. Like
a weird
immortal
lost love,
gothic love.
Immortal
romance.
Sacrificial love.
Yeah, yeah, so if you didn't pick up on what we're doing, we are doing 1999's The Mummy.
The Mummy.
Released May 7th, I think.
Yeah, actually kind of interesting. Yeah, it was fully released in the United States May 7th, 1999. Premiere was May 4th. But it was released in Portugal on April 16th before anything else. I had an IMDb and I didn't see anywhere why. Or
just why not? Just do it.
Hey, Portugal.
There you go.
Portugal the Man. Remember that band?
No.
Okay. Anywho.
Yeah.
This was a box office hit.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. That's the thing. That this is the best way to describe this movie. It's a universal ride. This is
This
is a Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's endearing about it.
That's what the charm. That's the charm in it.
Yeah. It's definitely playing homage to the golden age of Hollywood, which I know there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes, but with the big properties being made. But yeah, man will literally do anything to get his girlfriend back.
Well, and you know what? One thing I can... Nice. Well, she's not even his girlfriend. They've known each other for like 5 days, if that.
No, I meant Imhotep. Imhotep and Anox and a Moon. I don't mean Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, no, Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, I don't mean that. No, I mean this dude will literally come back from the underworld to get his girlfriend back.
One thing I've kind of noticed is a big way to tell if this movie is going to be some type of universal big American blockbuster thing is it was number 8 domestically, but worldwide it was only number 26, and it only out of its box office numbers only 0.6 of it was foreign. 99.4% of the money that made was domestic.
Yeah.
And it was still number 26 worldwide. If you can...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a fucking... Like I was saying, I mean, another way to say it is besides the Hollywood-ass Hollywood, this is an American-ass movie. Very much so, too.
Pop, 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 pop. With British leads.
Yeah.
In a way, Anywho, yeah. So yeah, that was your synopsis. How many movies did you have?
I counted 46 this time.
I had 61.
Wow.
Yes.
Man, you really kicked my ass on that one.
It happens every once in a while.
It does. Because I won pretty big last week.
I was surprised you had over 80. Yeah.
Yeah, I was even whoa, that's a lot. Well, what year was that? 2000.
It was 2004. What movie did we read last week?
Punisher.
Yeah, 2004. It's like, what? Where are we?
Well, weirdly, like I was actually thinking about it while we were setting up. Is like from Blade to Punisher to the Mummy, like that kind of theme together in my head better than we actually intended it to.
I think it's because maybe the time era and the movies are just kind of like similarly made around this.
Yeah.
How their storytelling isn't very
like
sharp.
Yeah, the not the pinnacle. Anyways, go ahead. Do your thing.
So ratings that it has on IMDb, it was a 7.1 IMDb. I was like fair. And then tomato on Rotten Tomatoes has a 60% tomato meter, so lower with the critics, but 75 audience score. So, and like I can see like why critics would kind of be lower, higher on like its rating with this, because due to its charm, but then also just like literally moments of just like this is just you're like there's no sense being made right now.
Yeah, but also I think too, it's still for being 1999, it still looks good.
Yeah, well,
I mean, there are definitely moments.
I will say, like, that's definitely because of Industrial Light and Magic (ILM), who like they did all of the special effects for it. But like, it's interesting is like I can still see like how this like ages. Like, there's something weird with ILM and how like because you look at Jumanji. And like how some of that looked good then, but not so much now.
Oh, like the monkeys.
The monkeys
look really weird.
Yeah, the best thing in Jumanji is the lion.
But even the lion looks
a little wonky,
a little off. Yeah. Well, I think it's because it's the most evil looking lion ever. Yeah. It's like a live version of Scar from like it's like it just looks. It kind of looks like Jeremy Irons, but in lion form.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, like actually.
So yeah, like, yeah, I think this movie does. I think what makes this movie kind of like stand the test of time is the fact that it is a period piece.
That always helps. We have talked about that,
yes.
like with Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Talked about that before. Like, yeah, that really helps.
Yeah, because when you're reflecting back on something and recreating it, it kind of like helps create a nostalgia, just naturally. And then its charm, like it just has a charm to it, and I think that charm really comes from Brendan Fraser. Well, I think, and also the sidekick guy. I was like, and Evie as well.
This is pretty well casted.
Oh, it's very well casted.
Like everyone fits. I mean, and it's like you're saying, the writing isn't really like
Well, the writing itself, I think, is okay. Like when it comes to the dialogue, I think it's witty. I think it's clever. It is very much it's an homage to like the 1920s like style of movies from where like the Mummy came from, like the adventure movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the thing that I'm talking about is more like, and we'll get into it. I'll just give one example. Is one, this curse is just the stupidest fucking curse.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
in
make
the goddamn
sense.
world.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any fucking sense.
Hey, let's make him super powerful in the future.
That'd be cool. Like what? Like why are you like what the fuck?
No, that's always since I was a kid.
I never really like grasped what the curse. I thought he was already like powerful or something. Yeah, I just never like watching this again. I was like, man, there's a lot that I just extrapolated onto this goddamn fucking like plot that I never like. A lot of like I just accepted it type.
Yeah,
thing.
They eat the carrot.
Yeah.
Well, I think also that with the writing too.
Oh, damn it! I did again.
What?
I had a panic that I forgot to record on shit. Okay, we're all good.
With the writing though, it's like everyone fits into this little, like, let's say our main 5 people characters that we were really following the whole time. They all fit into their little bubble. We're almost
their container of the character.
Yeah, but also it's like what it kind of like reminded me of is like like a video game where you like Stranger Brigade, where you can pick one of 4 characters.
Gee, I wonder why you brought up that game.
Evil Dead. I don't know. Pick one.
No. Well, they're all tropes.
Yeah. You have your tank. You have your support. You have and they all fit. Just that's what they are. That's it.
They are a stock character that they took off the cabinet and put it. And it's like
comic relief,
damsel in distress,
smart. Well, like or even like. That's what I like too. Actually, really about Evelyn is the fact that she's the damsel in distress. But it's like a lot of this shit couldn't happen without her. I mean, the whole.
Well, yeah, no, she's also the scientist.
Yeah, she's the librarian. She's the one that knows all the knowledge we need.
I am a librarian.
I'm a librarian. Oh, there it is.
And I am going to kiss you, Mr. O'Donnell.
O'Connell.
Call me Rick.
Right. You look really familiar. Have we? No, I just got one of those faces and pop. Yeah. Love it.
No, this movie is super quotable.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Like, it's just a fun movie. I totally derailed this. So what do we do now?
What do you mean?
Directors.
This? Yeah. What do you mean derail this?
I lost it.
He's wandering around.
Yeah, that's weird.
Hey, buddy.
I think he wants you now.
All right, you want to come up here? Nope.
Don't be weird.
Yep.
God, you're
I'm not picking you up. So,
dude, come here.
All right. We need to focus up.
Come here.
We got a distraction in here. Yeah. So we're doing directors and writers.
Yes.
Next,
okay.
So. And also so I was surprised. I didn't realize that this was as much of an actual remake from the 1932 The Mummy.
It's pretty close.
Oh, it's very far away from what the original story was. The only thing is Imhotep and Anuk's.
I guess you're right, too, because even Imhotep 2 is like...
Because in the original 1932 Mummy, Imhotep... Well, no, he becomes he gets revived, and then he lives for 3 years amongst people as a professor, trying to find a way to revive his dead lover.
I am thinking of something entirely different than... I thought I've seen this Mummy, the one you're describing, but none of this sounds familiar.
What?
Nothing. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So Boris Karloff playing the Mummy, that's the plot that I read online because I have not seen the 1932 Universal Mummy. Yeah. But that's the plot that I read online.
I'm just confused because my partner bought me an entire collection of the OG.
Yeah, the Universal.
Yeah, and I thought I watched one of the Mummies, and I thought it was a different. I mean, that could have just been.
It could have been the Curse of the Mummy or Return of the Mummy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, maybe I didn't watch the original one. I thought I did. Anyways, so sorry. Continue.
Well, it's the story that you had. You remember?
I remember shuffling.
Well, and that's definitely a trope of this that was scary in the 1930s, a mummy that,
I remember that.
But, you just remember that image?
Yeah, I remember. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, really the only thing that kind of ties this movie similar to that is just the character of Imhotep and Anuk.
Anok-Samun.
She has a different name in the original one, Anuk Namsamun or something like that. It's just one little
variation of
and that original one was written by John L. Balderston, and then also Nina Wilcox Putman and Richard Geyer. I was I wrote that name really badly. They were Nina and Richard really uncredited for the role because they created the treatment and then it was sold. Mm-hmm. But as time goes by, it gets oh no, someone else created this, and then John L. Balderston, who then wrote the screenplay and did all the other stuff for the original one.
Also did Dracula, Frankenstein.
Yeah. Yep.
No, the Universal monsters.
He was the Universal monster guy.
Yeah.
That's where he had a good paying job back then. Mm-hmm. But this one, 1999 version, written and directed by Stephen Sommers. Pause for the
I'm trying to
I was kind of leading that in for you to
which I thought was funny. Directed Van Helsing
and wrote it.
Yeah,
he's actually he's a lot of writer and director his own stuff.
Yeah. I just did the quotes.
His last movie he did was Odd Thomas in 2013,
which is so good.
It's fun. Yeah, I don't remember very much.
Very much I think that Sommers has a very good eye for the ride movie.
Yeah,
you just kind of go along.
No, he also did The Adventures of Huck Finn for Walt Disney.
Yeah, or Rise of Cobra, the G.I. Joe.
Yeah, the G.I. Joe movies.
Number 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck it is.
I thought I wrote that down.
I forgot that they made those.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, so Channing Tatum wants to as well.
Who's he supposed to be?
He was the lead actor in the first one. No. He was supposed to be kind of the Joe type. There is no Joe in the G.I. Joe movies, if I remember correctly.
That's confusing.
It's just G.I. Joe, we're America's army.
That's all I remember from G.I. Joe.
The cartoon?
Yeah.
Okay. The movies are very a big departure from what the cartoons were.
Yeah, it felt that way. But yeah, Autonomous is fun. Van Helsing, like, I know you hate that, right? You hate Van Helsing?
I just think, I
think it's fun for what it is. And also, it's Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. I mean, that's
a
lot of eye candy for me.
It's a lot of eye candy.
It's a lot of eye candy. I'm like, you're both really good looking. I'll just watch you.
It's just one of those things where it was like, they just like made this idea of Van Helsing into more than who Van Helsing was in literature. And it's based off a comic, isn't it? Actually,
I don't know. Actually,
I think it's a graphic novel.
No, it feels like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen treatment.
Yeah,
on Van Helsing.
Yeah, poorly done.
Mm-hmm. I would still think we should review that one.
We'll get to it eventually. Yeah. Also, really quick, I just wanted to Lloyd, Fonvielle, and Kevin Jarre were screen story writers for this, and they look like they just have history in like writing adventure comedies like similar to this, or just like action movies.
Yeah, very action. So like I think Tombstone, the
yeah.
Rambo series, like stuff like that.
Which I just feel like they were brought on to assist in making it Hollywood.
I meant to write it. I wrote it down, but I meant to look it up. Is Glory that Civil War movie with Matthew Broderick? Is that what that's called? I meant to look
I don't think so.
No, okay. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm trying to remember what that one's called. Anyways, Megan. Get into starring?
Yeah, sorry. I was like, is Glory that Philadelphia Eagles movie with Mark Wahlberg? No.
Oh,
it's not that one though.
What are you?
I looked at Glory and I know. Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm trying to remember. I'm like, God damn it. Anywho, let's get into starring and whatnot.
So our action hero, the lead guy, is Brendan Fraser.
Yes, so we have same alma mater. We both went to Cornish College of the Arts
back in the day, and he looked real good as Rick. I liked his outfit a lot.
Oh yeah,
he just looked.
No, he looks like a 1920s swashbuckler.
Yeah,
or not swashbuckler. That's a pirate.
Well, it's just like weird too, though, because it's like I remember Brendan Fraser's been in my life since I was a kid, but like I remember seeing this for the first time because I remember him in Blast from the Past, George of the Jungle, and he's just like so goofy and just.
It's like when I associate him in his earlier career with Airheads and Encino Man.
Yeah, Encino Man. Yeah. I didn't see Encino Man actually until a few years ago.
Are you fucking serious?
All of those. Encino Man, Son-in-Law.
Oh, man. Well, actually, what's funny is like with Son-in-Law and in the Army now, he just plays a quick cameo as Link from Encino Man because I think him and Pauly Shore, maybe they are still friends, but there's clearly an association with Pauly Shore and Brendan Fraser as Link.
Well, I told you a while ago, I was like, I'm really happy that I missed in my formative years Pauly Shore.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, it would have totally made my personality. That's right. Because I love him.
How often did you quote this? The Leaning Tower of Cheese. From fucking Goofy movie. Yeah, that's Pauly Shore.
I know.
Yeah, so
but I'm just like, but I know. But if I gotten too much Pauly Shore in my life, if you would have seen
Pauly Shore when he was the MTV VJ before his career took off,
it would have definitely. I love him. I think he's fucking hilarious. And I'm 30. I still think
we need to watch the documentary Pauly Shore is Dead. Then
what the fuck is that?
It's a documentary that he made when a bunch of people were saying that Pauly Shore died. So he's like, he went around and be like,
was it because he just didn't do anything? So everyone just was like, oh, he died, obviously, because he hasn't done anything.
It's a really weird,
awesome.
It's a very meta, weird.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'll watch that.
All right, Brendan Fraser. I wrote down Encino Man, George of the Jungle. Oh, yeah. He had 3 movies come out this year. Also, looking at his list, he had like 2 or 3 movies, or was in like 2 or 3 things to 4 things a year, starting in like 1992.
Yeah, he was around, which people forget that he was kind of around.
He was in fucking everything almost for a minute, but like
Bedazzled, Monkey Bone.
Yeah, can you name the 3 movies that came out in 1999? I mean, this one obviously.
The Mummy, Blast from the Past.
Mm-hmm.
Bedazzled.
Nope. Bedazzled's 2000.
Monkey Bone?
Nope, that's
earlier, right?
I think that actually is 2001.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dudley Do Right.
Oh my god. I was just talking about Dudley Do Right.
I think we were talking about it a couple weeks ago.
Oh no, I was talking to this friend of mine that works up the street, and I was telling them that we were reviewing this, and they were like, "Oh man, I really love George of the Jungle, like with Brendan Fraser." And I was like, "Yeah, no, it's great. Have you ever seen Dudley Do Right?" They're like, "No, what is that?" And I was like, "You remember like Rocky, Bullwinkle, George of the Jungle, Dudley Do Right?" And they're like, "No, I don't know what that is." And I was like, "He plays like a Canadian Mountie." And it's the same kind of fucking humor for George of the Jungle.
Yeah,
and
it's the
like,
damsel in distress with like the evil like mustache twirling.
You know. And she was like, "Holy shit! No, I had no idea." I was like, "Yeah, you need to check out. If you like George of the Jungle, you got to check out Dudley Do Right."
Yeah,
like,
100%.
So stupid, but it's awesome. What is it in George of the Jungle?
Oh,
they look at Ape Mountain and react in awe. Aw. I said awe. AWE. Ooh, that's better. It's so stupid. Anyway, sorry.
That's with Leslie Mann, yeah.
Yeah. And what's his name from Sideways?
Paul Giamatti?
No.
No, Thomas Hayden Church.
Yeah. In Thomas Hayden Church.
Oh yeah, man, I haven't seen it.
Pretty great.
I haven't seen the movie in a really since I was a kid. I want to say.
Pretty great like cast.
Yeah,
for that movie.
Well, let's talk about the cast of this movie. So we have our female lead, or do we want to go into the mummy first? Who plays?
No, I would say Rachel.
Oh yeah, so Rachel Weisz. It's not wise. I know that.
That's what I've been calling her that.
No, I forget. The W is pronounced with a V, like it's like German.
It's like German. We will ask the questions. Anyways,
we will ask the questions. Rachel Weisz. It's Rachel Weisz.
Who we've talked about before.
Yeah, because she was in The Lobster.
Yeah, The Lobster.
And it's when I found out she was married to Daniel Craig. And
what is your like go-to movie for Rachel?
I wrote it down. This really, and
that's fair. About a boy for me.
One that a lot of people haven't seen. It's called The Shape of Things. It also stars Paul Rudd as well. It's based off of a play that I wanted to direct. I like pitched it, and I didn't get to be able to direct it. Which is, it's pretty much like she starts dating this Paul Rudd, who he is like a little like frumpy, kind of not overweight, but like frumpy-ish, not in shape type of guy. And she starts dating him. And pretty much you find out at the end of it, the premise is like her art project. She's an artist, and her art project was what she called the human sculpture. And it was her sculpting him to become the person that she wanted him to be. And then all of a sudden he's just on display. He had no knowledge of it. And all of a sudden he's just on display. And she's like, well, this is what he looked like then, and this is what he looks like now. And it's just like, it's fucking crazy about like body image. Like it's like gaslighty as fuck. It's like, holy shit. It's a weird story and movie.
When did that come out?
2000 and something. The play, I want to say, came out in like 2002, 2003. So it's sometime after that.
Okay.
Yeah. I have it somewhere downloaded if you want to watch it.
Sounds interesting. I mean, I like Paul Rudd, and I like her, too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
So I guess next would be Imhotep.
How do you say his last name? Arnold.
Vosloo. Yeah. Hey, buddy.
What's up? Can you sit down?
He's like, why are you talking into that thing?
He's like, I have something to say.
Yeah, he's really attention hungry today. Mm-hmm. Arnold Vosloo, who also was in the G.I. Joe movies.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I saw that. I don't know who he was in that. He has a bunch of voice acting credits for like some like DC stuff I saw. All over the place.
He replaced Liam Neeson in Darkman, which you're like, I don't know whose casting idea that was, because they don't look anything alike.
Oh, we want to talk about recasting, like the third movie. I started watching The Mummy, right?
He's the third movie.
He's not in the third one.
Who? Are we talking about Darkman or are you talking about The Mummy?
I'm talking about The Mummy.
Oh, isn't like... It's
Jet Li.
Yeah, I'm like, no, isn't it called The Emperor's tomb or
Rachel Weisz isn't in the third one as Evelyn.
Oh no, it's
Maria Bello.
Yeah.
And she plays a completely different version of Evelyn.
Yeah, no, it's brutal. It's
Yeah.
like you just don't have her in it.
Yeah,
then.
just write the character out.
Yeah, like she died or she's on a trip or anything. Yeah, I remember watching. I mean, that movie was also
It's
terrible.
bad. I started watching it so while I was finishing off notes, the Mummy Returns came on. I realized like I've never actually watched the Mummy Returns.
Oh, have you not?
Yeah, I was
It's
I've seen the ending of it a couple of times for whatever fucking reason, but never watched the movie. So I didn't know that
to watch the really terrible Dwayne Johnson CGI. Maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, but then I didn't know that that Evelyn had this whole like she's like the reincarnated like daughter of the
pharaoh
of the white pharaoh that was in Egypt.
The pharaoh.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
And a Nox and a Moon is like
the young hot new wife coming in.
Yeah.
But it's just
they have a feud.
But she's actually with Imhotep actually because like the whole thing, to overthrow the pharaoh. You find
there's a lot going on in that movie,
dude. There is. I was like, holy shit,
the bracelet and then the jungle and the giant diamond and
I was like, damn it! Like so they took this like wonderful like fun like movie,
fucking rolled with it,
and we're like, all right, let's add in a lot of shit.
And then like the little like what do they call them, the little pygmy like little mummy things.
I thought those were like monkey mummies.
I don't know. I think that Jonathan calls them like pygmies at some point.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, they're just like they're doing the velociraptor thing and the tall stay out of the tall grass kind of.
Yeah, that movie was fucking. I was like, all right, and then that ended, and then just the third one just started playing automatically on my Hulu, and I was like, all right, sure, let's just try to go to sleep to this.
That one's
and I got like 40 minutes into it. I'm like, I need to turn this the fuck
that one's
off.
That is a hot piece of garbage. And then wait, there's technically a fourth one, The Scorpion King.
Well, that's
which
a prequel.
But it's like not.
Did you know The Scorpion King has 3 sequels to it?
Get the fuck out of here.
It has a prequel, and then it has 2 other sequels, and then a possible another one coming out.
All with him?
No.
Well, I'm assuming the prequel someone else because it's young.
Yeah. No, they recasted him. I forget with who, but like they like by the second.
Wow.
By the Scorpion King 2, not the prequel one.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that one was might as well have been direct to video. They're just all direct to video.
Man, they beat this franchise with a dead, god damn.
Yeah.
They just beat it to death. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean. They milked every goddamn cent.
Oh, dude, they milked it and then kept pulling out the dust.
Yeah.
Because even the most recent one that came out, I want to say it was like 2016 or something. Yeah.
Really?
Stars Lou Ferrigno in it as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm kind of really into that.
It's like I could spiral so hard right now, but I gotta focus.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
All right, well that spawned out of spawned out of Arnold Vosloo.
Arnold. Then a quick little shout out to John Hannah, who plays Jonathan the brother.
Yes.
4 Weddings and a Funeral. You might have he's in The Last of Us in the very first episode. He's one of the
he's one of the scientists.
Yeah, talking about fungi.
Yeah.
I mean, this is for me the biggest thing I can.
Yeah.
I looked at his list and nothing spoke out to me. So.
And then who else do you got? The Magi.
Oh.
Oded Fehr.
Yeah, Oded Fehr. Sorry.
Fehr.
Fehr.
It's Fehr.
Fehr. And
where was he from? Where did you say?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
That I closed all those tabs.
Oh, okay.
Islamic, I think.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Islamic. Yeah, I think Islamic is what it said.
And then did you also write down who? I mean, fuck, dude. There's a lot of there's the guy that plays the father in Jumanji is in this. He's the
oh shit, that is him.
Yeah, he's the British with the Americans.
I didn't write down any of those.
I didn't write down any of their names as well because I mean, there's actually a lot of just people in this where they're probably in around other things, but he's very recognizable. The guy who's the head of the librarian works for Evelyn. Yeah. I can't remember his name. Well,
it's just it's one of those I think that I made the decision to not do that because it would just been a spiral of writing everyone down, and I was like, no, we've been
doing that a lot. Yeah,
we have our villain, we have our hero, we have our
female lead.
Yeah, and immediate support.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh, and then Benny, who I don't recognize from anything.
I don't recognize him from this. I mean, he's incredible in this.
He is great.
He
plays such a great
weenie.
slimy weasel.
Yeah, he's such a weenie.
Hey, Rick! Looks like we got all the horses!
Hey, Benny! Looks like you're on the wrong side of the river. It was very, what's your name? Tony!
You better not bring my mother into this!
You see that fire over there? Yeah, it was very that. But yeah, I mean, but that's even like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, we both, I guess, were saying we agreed on that. Is like everyone is very well casted.
Yeah.
In their as
like
what
even
they're
like
supposed
all of
to
the
be.
Americans, like they're the way that they're physically cast is like you got the one guy with the long hair who looks like the gunslinging cowboy, like ha ha ha, carefree.
Not Jeff Bridges. Jack. What was his name? Kurt Russell.
Oh yeah,
He reminded me a lot of a young Kurt Russell.
And then you got like the archaeologist guy who has the glasses, and he's a little bit, you know, like
more timid, like out of all of them.
And then you got the one that's like short, brawny type of guy,
New Yorker, like take no shit, you know. Yeah,
but yeah, let's get into the reviews so we can actually get to talking about this movie.
Okay, Tommy's corner. Can you chill? Thank you.
This is the most distracting he's ever been.
Yeah, I know. Usually he's just like, I'm going to take a nap. Let's see. Okay, so on Metacritic, we have 11 positive, 16 mixed, and 7 negative. I went with Roger Ebert at Chicago's Own Times with a positive of 75 out of 100. There's hardly a thing I can say in its favor, except that I was cheered by nearly every minute of it. I cannot argue for the script, the direction, the acting, or even the mummy, but I can say that I was not bored, and sometimes I was unreasonably pleased.
That's really fair in a lot of
that
senses.
To me, that was like that's what this movie
is. I feel like Roger Ebert's like really just like on point, or just like unnecessarily mean.
That's because also like it's also so weird. Anytime I always like going to Roger Ebert too, because he always surprises me. I'm like, oh, Roger Ebert's gonna tear this thing a new one, and then you're like, he actually liked it
because he actually likes movies.
Yeah. He likes.
He
movies.
understands movies as an art form, or he did.
Yeah. Let's see. Walter. Okay. For a mix, 50 out of 100. Walter Adiego at the SF Examiner. A frantic, epic-sized blowout of campy Indiana Jones style dare-doing mixed with lots of computer-generated gee whizzes.
Gee whiz. Okay.
Yeah. I was just like, yeah, I could see. Yeah, it's a very, you know, it's a treasure hunting movie.
It is, yeah.
At the end of the day. And then Stefan? Where is Stefan? Oh, negative 30 out of 100. Stephen Hunter, The Washington Post. Fast and Furious, shallow, empty, casually racist, merry, jaunty, silly, and utterly weightless.
That's mean. It's not weightless. It's just light.
You have a visitor over there.
Yeah, I know. And he can jump up here if he wants.
Look at those little doughy eyes. Just
yeah, come on up. Come on. Nope. All right. We need to stay focused.
We're almost done at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, like so. Yeah, my biggest thing with this was really just like noticing little moments of just like I said, like the curse. Like, why the fuck are they like? Let's put this curse on this guy that's going to. Yeah, make him more powerful. Like he just fucking committed like a huge sin toward like
he literally treason.
Yeah, he murdered the pharaoh.
The pharaoh. He murdered the
also,
pharaoh.
I mean, really quick, yeah, that casually racist. There is like for like this movie, it's like it's very 1999, and that's whitewashing. It's just all the rage. Like the white pharaoh, and even just like Arnold Vosloo, like. He's a white guy playing this pharaoh's like high priest. That's right. Or yeah. And then all of the gold painted like monks, they're all white dudes just painted gold. Like there's a like for being like not 3,000 years ago Egypt.
I'm gonna be really honest with you though. Kind of dug her gold paint.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
I remember when I was a kid being like, oh.
I watched that scene a lot as a kid.
I remember.
Can we rewind that, please?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember my parents always trying to like make me. I don't know. My parents, I remember they always sent me out when What's-His-Butt gets eaten by the scarab.
Oh, yeah, because it's scared.
No, but I'm also like, you showed me Alien when I was 8. Like, the damage is done, dude. Like, it's over.
You know, like, when she's, like, walking, like, when it gets, like, that follow away shot and it's, like, her butt and whatnot, but, like, how they clearly, like, added a bunch of extra beads to cover to cover her crack.
Well, even her hair was perfectly right here at, like,
but she's also wearing pasties.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. But it was just, like, it was right here.
It's, like, in pasties in 3,000 years ago. Like, it's fucking... Whatever. The last one where it's like casually racist is
from
South Africa.
South Africa, right?
Yeah,
right. He's from South Africa, but he's like Dutch and because
it's just like Hollywood, just like being like we don't care about racially accurate stuff right now because we're dumb. That
was really
very high intelligent way of dancing.
Yeah, that was a good way of. Well, because it's like, but that's what I was saying earlier too. It's like this, in a sense, is like this is paying homage to the quote unquote golden age of Hollywood, where it's just I just want to say iconic things came out. I feel like you're going to say something really terrible.
I'm trying not to say anything. You're like very iconic things came out. Yeah, things that we don't want to talk about anymore.
You have to. You have to talk about it.
Well, I mean, like...
I guess you don't have to.
It's more like, hey, yeah, we can acknowledge it, but... moving forward.
Imhotep.
What the fuck's up with this curse?
Yeah, dude.
It's the dumbest fucking, like... It's kind of like last week with the Punisher, when we were like, wait a second. Who was that setup actually for... Remember, like, the very beginning of The Punisher, where we're like, oh, yeah, he's working.
Oh, yeah. Like, you're like,
who the fuck is he actually trying to arrest?
Yeah, what is his point? What is he trying to do?
Yeah. It's like, who was the, like, yeah, it was like, what the,
Well, then also, like, this curse. I was kind of actually curious about that. I wanted to kind of look up the timeline, because this Hom-Dai, I think is what it's called, the curse that they do. Hom-Dai.
Hom-Dai.
Okay, yeah. But it's like it gives him the power of the plagues of Egypt.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually look up the time. I didn't, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I didn't look up the time, like, when have the plagues of Egypt. I guess they must have already, like, happened.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering how accurate it is.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because, when did all that stuff happen?
I don't remember what year it was that they were saying that Imhotep was around.
It was 3,000 years...
Before 1923?
Before, like, 1920, essentially. Yeah. So,
anyways.
That'd be, like, 2000.
But, yeah, so, like, fine. Well, whatever.
BC.
So, you're going to give... So, this curse that you're going to do is going to give him the power of a god that attempted to wipe your entire civilization out for slavery, basically. Why are we going to do that? Let's go with no.
Oh my God, that just made me think when Benny picks up the Star of David and starts praying in Hebrew. And he's like, oh, you speak the language of the slaves.
I gotta say, though, I respect the shit out of that dude. He just has all of them, and he just starts going, no? Okay. How about, no? Okay. How about, that makes me laugh every single time I watch this movie.
It shows, like, one, he actually is really, he's licking that thing so much.
I didn't even notice. I just tuned it out. Stop it.
Yummy. He's like you can tell, like, with that, he's actually a very intelligent guy.
He wants you so bad.
I know. Okay. I'm just ignoring him now. Okay. He's actually an intelligent guy because, like, he has all these languages. He's, like, he knows what he's doing, but he's just a weasel. He's just like...
Well, it's also his fight or flight. He knows where he's at.
It's like anything for survival and for whatever gain he can get. Because, like, how he just quickly is just, like, succumbs to being this, like, servant for Imhotep.
Well, like, he has one of the best lines in the movie. He's like, it's better to be at the devil's hand than in his path or something like that. Something like that. And you're like... He's not, like, wrong. I mean, because everyone that's going against Imhotep at this point has not really made it out. So, yeah.
One we're really getting like I think like hold up on like one specific idea of this movie, because this movie is a lot more than just like the curse and like, well, I guess what I was actually trying to lean to is like at the very end, another thing that pulled me out is like Imhotep is about to actually like, you know, kill Evelyn, and then Jonathan shows up and he's like, I have the book, and instead of Imhotep just going like, oh, you have the book, too late now, motherfucker. He stops the entire ritual to like go and attack Jonathan for the book. It's like it's like,
yeah, but I mean,
like, no, this is like this. It's not clever, right? Now it's just like, oh,
no, but because you need to get the book from him, because everything that you like, number one, he can undo the whole possession sacrifice thing, and he can take you out. You need the book.
Yeah, but also if he kills Evelyn, then fucking Jonathan can't read the book as well. Kill the person that can translate it, who is now your sacrifice. Boom, she's dead.
Yeah, but you're assuming that Imhotep knows that Jonathan can't read ancient Egyptian.
I mean, I would just kill one of them and then deal with the other one. But then also, while they're reading out of the book of the golden book, whatever, like they're literally holding it in their hands or reading out of it to stop Imhotep. And instead of going after them holding the book, he continues to go after Rick O'Connell because he's the actual he's the hero of the story.
Well, it's also
he literally walks right past them reading the book.
Also, on this magical book, why is there an inscription on the cover that makes you awaken soldier mummies?
Yeah. Like, and I'm just like, that's where like at this point I'm like, I was like, you know, this is I'm here for the ride. I'm enjoying what's happening, but like this isn't it's like this isn't coherent at this point.
Well, also I think that an interesting point to make is the fact that there are sequels ruins this first movie.
Yeah.
Because it takes away all the levity of it. Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's like Dracula. It's he died for his love and then comes back to reunite with her and then dies again and has this like gothic romanticized idea. And then when you make it that he, you know, the second one, he comes back, you're like, well,
but he also does say that death is only the beginning.
But that left it on a cool kind of like
I'm a bad guy.
You know, like this
death
kind of
is only the beginning.
Yeah, you know, it's like this mystical note, but then you have the second one and
thumbs up from Terminator 2.
Sorry.
But yeah, I just think that knowing that there's a sequel out there kind of just makes it kind of. They should have kind of done what they did with the third one and just. The family is now dealing with a different kind of undead monster thing.
Oh, well, okay. What's really interesting, though, reading about the history of all the different scripts this went through from 1992 or something, or even like maybe 1989.
I think it was 1989.
Yeah, 1989 up to when Stephen Sommers came on board was in The Mummy Returns. A lot of those ideas from like Romero and like a bunch of other different people were then implemented into The Mummy Returns.
It feels like that.
I was like, wow, it was really interesting. But
the second one, they should have just focused on the Scorpion King.
Yeah.
No Imhotep. You don't need to do that. That's just now we're on this next chapter. And then the next one, you have the whole Tomb of the Emperor or whatever the hell. You know what I mean?
Okay, we're bringing up a lot of things that it's like this movie is kind of ridiculous for this, but like why? What is the redeeming factor of this? Because this is a really fun movie.
It's like I was saying earlier, it's a charming Universal Studios ride.
Well, and a big thing that I notice is that it upholds this feeling of like classical movies, but like makes it like more polished. You know, like
like old school. Yeah, 20s,
it's like this
30s.
Feels like a like 1930s. Like in like the biggest thing that Sommers wanted to do, and I feel like he captured it really well, is he wanted to make an Indiana Jones, Jason and the Argonauts from 1930s like type of movie. You know, it's like this like adventure comedy, but he wanted to add this element of horror through the Mummy.
I think that's also what's charming about it is that it's a very subtle horror movie because there are really pretty scary moments, you know, that like, I mean, between Imhotep himself when he's regenerating and how he literally sucks the flesh off of his victims, the scarabs that eat people alive, you know, there are these like real.
And like, that's a big thing to kind of like, I feel like movies that can find really big, like blockbuster success, you know, that need like when they're like, larger than life, like any like Marvel movie. And I feel like Marvel movies do a good job with this at some points as well, is that it can't be bound by a specific genre. It has to be genre bending.
It needs to, also it needs to be a hodgepodge, but comfortable.
Yeah.
In being a hodgepodge. Because they like talking with like the second one where you're saying they just started cramming this stuff in there. The first one doesn't really feel like that. It feels very kind of, it's all blended together.
It has an identity.
Yeah.
It knows very much what it is in between its action adventure, Indiana Jones with this horror element.
Treasure hunting, monster hunting.
Yeah, it's like this treasure hunting movie that turns into horror curse,
and there's even moments where like you're seeing Imhotep, like I think it's the first time that Rick and Imhotep interact, and Imhotep does
screams at him.
Yeah, he does that classic Imhotep scream,
yeah.
and then Rick just and then shoots him with a shotgun and like takes off. It's like that's a scary moment that really leans into now a funny moment,
and then also clever like callbacks. That is, you get back at the very end when he's fighting all of the mummies. Like also this escalation of this movie is like any like adventure action movies. Like everything needs to build on top of itself, and everything needs to one up the last thing that happened. So when Rick is at the end and now fighting just all of these mummies, and then like the Pharaoh's guards come out, and he like sit there and he just does the like screams at them, and then they and he's like, nope.
Well, that's even like something like, even if you want to kind of break down the horror elements, like for shot kind of thing, is even the very first one that you really, and it has this like doom and gloom about it, but what was his name? The guy with the glasses. Shit.
The one that gets his eyes taken out?
Yeah, well, that's the first interaction you see that Imhotep has had now with the living after he wakes up, is he ripped out a dude's eyes and tongue and put them in his own so he could talk and see again.
Yeah.
That alone, like just on a concept level,
that's fucking terrifying.
It's terrifying. And then to see that dude, and you're like, geez, and he's like on the ground and he's
in shock.
Yeah. And then she's like, please don't leave me. Help me, Mr. Burns, I think is his name, or something like that. But like, that's a horrifying moment in this movie. And it works really well because then it jumps back into the action. And then you get like another horror moment and it jumps back into the action. And it was like, it's really cool.
And it's balanced with humor as well. It's like, even like when they get back to the town and there's that sky captain who's the drunk and just like, he's like, waiting for his last adventure where he wants to die on, as I am not afraid.
Dying here of boredom and booze.
Starts walking through the fountain. And
some idiot spilt his drink. Yeah, like he's funny. But even then it's like, but he's
also what's great about that writing is that it has this like feel, like this cleverness of like, I feel like I'm watching a 1930s adventure.
Well, because it has like a slapstick to it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like and all of the actors like leaned really well into these roles.
I think that's also something that to say about this movie specifically, besides like, the casually rate, like all the like negative things you can say about it.
The stuff that's very much a product of its time.
Of the 90s.
Yeah.
There aren't many movies like this.
No, there are not.
This is especially for a modern cinema take, this is a very unique thing.
Yeah.
Because they are really ingeniously capturing that 30s.
Yeah.
And they're putting it in a bottle, and it's like we were saying too, it's aged really well. I mean, like Imhotep when he's like partially, like when he's mainly
there's
still
definitely
mummy.
Some like special effects that are a little rough to look at nowadays, but it's not the worst.
Well, like, the and there's just like I'm always pleasantly surprised at like, I think he's like 3/4 of the way regenerated, and like he still has like this part is all messed up, and like a scarab crawls out and he eats it, and then he goes to kiss Rachel, and then it's just like, you're like, that was gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a unique thing that you just don't really see anymore, and I don't really think you're going to again. I don't think this style, but we are doing what we're doing next week, Wolfman, right?
Wolfman, yeah. But I mean,
we'll see if that.
But think like what's nice is I think they took this time, the time period. Let's say if they would have made this in the 80s, the style would have been different. They took this idea of what we've envisioned the 1930s to be like because of the films that came out in the 1930s and how that's a reflection of the 1930s in our minds, and did that, you know. But then think about like how Stranger Things right now is embodying and capturing the 80s in a very specific way. You know, it's like, and Stranger Things I think is successful because it's nostalgic. It's like it's a period piece of the 80s, and they're filming it and writing it in a way that as if it was like a well-polished 80s movie, 80s science fiction, you know, just with modern technology. Does you see what I'm saying? Like,
well, I guess my point though is with the 30s, especially just like economically, and the world still felt really big.
Yeah.
At that time, it still felt like there was, and that's that sense of adventure. There was, you know, there was things to explore. You know, it's like now we live in an era, and it, you know, I mean the 80s, but I just mean like now we live in an era where information is just so easily. Like we wouldn't be able to do this podcast 20 years ago without, like, we were able to just do it, you know. But it's like with the 30s, there is this like sense of, I mean, that's what the voice says, you know, adventure. That's what 1930s is in our minds.
Yeah,
and I just mean that I just think that now, especially because it's so far like gone, I don't really think that, like, I guess most recently in its video game, but like Uncharted kind of had that kind of feel to it.
It has that adventure quality to it.
But the movie doesn't. The movie doesn't have that charm to me like this does.
Like the Indiana Jones charm?
Yeah.
No, the movie felt more like a Da Vinci Code.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, it felt like a Da Vinci Code. It didn't feel like
Indiana Jones.
Like finding, you know, the hidden like treasure, even though you are, but didn't have that. I don't know. Am I being totally stupid?
I know what you're saying, but like,
I feel like I'm not articulating it very well.
I think you're running around the same point.
Okay.
Is kind of like the thing. It's like, and
I'm like a record stuck on like
it's like it's the 1930s is a very specific time, and like they captured it very well, and they brought that nostalgia out. Does that make sense? You know, and we're just agreeing on that, I guess.
Yeah, it's just, I guess also just a point out. I was like, I'm really bummed out there's sequels to this. Like, if this was just its own little doop, just little doop.
Well, let's get into our carrot.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. Yeah, I'd give it like a 3.5.
Let's say 4 out of 5. It's a fun ride, and it's one of those. And obviously, I'm biased because I'm nostalgic because I grew up with this movie. But
I think the little the oversights of just the ridiculousness of the curse, how just like the ridiculousness of the final to the climax fight, you know, how I was talking about, like Emotep just like not going after them with the book, going after Rick. I'm just like, this is I'm just like, it starts to like, it's like one of those things when you first watch it. It's one of like, kind of like last week when I was talking about with the Punisher. I'm like, oh, and then the truck disappears and the magical villain bus comes back. You know, like, and it's like, it's these things that as an audience members we don't fully grasp because we get caught up in the action. But then when you just stop there and look at the action, you're like, no, that doesn't make sense.
I think, but it's interesting. I just was like having this realize, well, like as you're talking, I'm like, but I don't think of that as the end of the movie. What really sticks out to me as the end of the movie is the Hamunaptra sinking into the sands, Benny getting trapped in the treasure room because of his greed. He even sets off the trap, and all the scarabs come and eat him.
Yeah, that is the end of the movie.
But I don't really. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's the last 10 minutes you think about. I don't really think about the Imhotep fight.
I mean, I'm saying that's the final final.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's just like I kind of always forget about the Imhotep fight.
Oh yeah.
What I always think about is the
like all of, like the mummy. Like one of my favorite moments actually is when he's like fighting all the mummies and like the hand is crawling towards the sword and he grabs the sword.
He grabs the hand,
chops
grabs
off
the sword,
the feet of the other one, and
it drops the tomb.
Yeah.
As we were talking, I was just realizing I really don't remember that scene ever. That's not what ever sticks out in my head.
Yeah.
So I miss all the ridiculousness of it.
No, exactly, because you're so caught up in the action that's happening. You're enjoying the roller coaster. You're like, woo! That you're not realizing that there's someone on the side going like controlling something. You know.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Because I really think that also like Benny, who's such a side character, having the result be that is just actually like
no, like everyone gets their
justice hurts.
I can't think of the word that I'm trying to think of. But no, he gets justice served to him, which is interesting because you have this like kind of wonder, like you see him kind of like grimace at some of the stuff that Imhotep's doing, and you're like, is he gonna like have like a
redemption arc?
Oh, he has his comeuppance, yeah. Like he's gonna have a redemption where he comes in and he's like, "Come on, guys, let me get you out of here."
Yeah, like I know the error of my ways. Or whatever.
Because like you see him just kind of like, he's regretting doing what he did with Imhotep, but he's like, "Well, now I'm gonna get all my treasure and get the fuck out of here."
Yeah,
and then he gets eaten by the Beatles.
Well, it's like also
by John Lennon and sorry.
So what's the scam this time, Benny? You're gonna take him into the middle of the desert and then you're gonna leave him to rot? And he's like, unfortunately, no. These Americans are too smart.
Oh yeah.
But it's just like you're like,
goodbye, Benny.
Yeah. It's like it's also because it's like,
well, they do a great job of setting his character up to at the very beginning with him like running away at the because of Rick and him being at what's the place called? Amanatra. And then Amanatra. And then like Rick running like Benny, open the door. And then Benny's closing. He's like, Benny, keep don't you close that door. Don't you close that door.
Well, it's also like kind of fun with Benny's character too. The fact that he is the comic relief, but he's an unlikable comic relief. Yeah. But that makes him kind of endearing because you're like, God, this is a weasel. And also, like I was saying too, I do like Rachel's character. I mean, she does end up becoming like, because the style of movie.
She becomes the damsel in distress.
But she's also, for the 90s, she could have been like way more uninteresting.
She's kind of a two-dimensional, almost three-dimensional. I mean, she is a three-dimensional character, but they do a disservice to her by making her become the damsel in distress.
Yeah, they could have done a lot worse. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they do a disservice.
But it's interesting because that's like I would love to see. I mean, it's somewhere out there, I think, already. But like, I would love to see like this style of movie, like from like Be Upset in the 1930s, very much leaning into this like adventure 1930s, because like, even like the soundtrack kind of like leads into that whole
soundtrack's pretty
this
good.
Like adventure feel and whatnot.
Yeah,
where the female character doesn't have that become the damsel in distress but that's very much what the 1930s were. This is an homage to that style.
And you had the swashbuckling, gun-toting,
the American hero.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I give it a 4 because it's like still after all this time, I always forget how much I enjoy watching this movie.
I mean, a 4 is higher than what most of the like other ratings give it. So,
I like it. I think it's fun.
I like it too. I think it's fun. Mm-hmm. I had enjoyed rewatching it again. Memotep. Memotep. All right.
But yeah, next week we're going to be doing who is in that? Benicio del Toro, Anthony Hopkins, and who is the woman in that?
I've never seen it.
Oh, you know?
No. Oh. So actually, that's why I was like, I know I seemed very just kind of like put off when you were on the phone with me. I was just in I was just really shitty mood.
Yeah, I could tell. I was like, do you not remember talking to me the other night? Yeah, I do. I was just like clarifying, like just trying to talk to my friend.
I was very angry. You caught me at the worst time.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do the Wolfman remake.
The Wolfman from 2010,
something like that.
Yeah,
2010, 11.
It was panned super hard, and I don't know why. But we'll find out next week.
I'm gonna make a prediction. The ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna come back and say and be like, yeah, the ending.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram,
all those things, all the fun things.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe,
comment.
Hit that button. I hear that on YouTube all the time. There's like hit the I don't know, notification
when it says like 10 things you didn't know about blah blah blah, and the person just they point at the caption. That's been driving me nuts recently. I don't know why. All right, cool. Thanks everybody. This is Tommy.
Yeah, this is Jacob.
This is Tommy and Jacob's Mixtape. Bye, y'all.